Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to talk a little bit about NEO here and this chart pattern that I see forming. Here's a daily chart of NEO. It's actually an ICO. It ICO'd about, I don't know, what is that? What's that math say? 8 days ago? And it's from $10 to $36. That's a pretty strong coin. I mean, I shouldn't have to drill too far down into this chart to tell you that this thing is kind of on a tear here. I mean, it ICO'd instantly, went higher, had one day, it's only had 3 down days, and look at this day from $22 to $42. I mean, that's a ridiculous day. So it actually looks like it's forming up here to go ahead and make another run. So let's dive down. Let's do the 2-hour chart here. So what do we see here on this 2-hour chart? Well, we can pretty much go all the way back to the beginning. All right, we can fit the entire chart history inside of one screen here. So let's do this. So we have several extreme run-ups. You have a very good volume pop here, lots of green volume days, a couple of red volume days on the downside, but that's expected. They're down days, right? So when you're looking at these charts, what you want to see is how many green volume bars, and then on the big volume bars, you know, where do they close in the range? Is it a topping bar? Is it a continuation bar? So what we see here is a topping bar on the largest green day, closes above the middle part of the day, which is still good even though it's not great, and it did start to consolidate here. We have the next day is red, but it closes well off the lows, actually in the top half of the bar's range. That's really good. And then volume really dries up here on this 4th day after the top. Look at that. I mean, it's very, very, very narrow compared to the prior 4 or 5 days. And then we have a little sell-off up here, which is fine. And we have, look at these high volume red days. They all end on with buying pressure. This one ended in almost the top 3/4 of the bar. This one ended in the top half of the bar. Both high volume bars. That tells you that there is some support down in this particular currency. And then we popped up again on some lighter volume. We floated down on very light volume, which is always a constructive thing to see. And then we floated up on also light volume, but slightly increasing, which is really nice to see. And now we're just kind of floundering about. So what does this mean for NEO? Well, overall, it looks like a very healthy stock. There's no distribution. The thing has been running since the jump. I mean, if you got in this thing at $10 and you're still holding at 37, keep holding. You're going to make a couple more 100% out of this, I have a feeling, before it's done. So nothing in here says that this stock should be failing. Absolutely nothing. This thing should be moving up. In time, it will move up. I'm not going to give price points here. I don't do that. But it's going to continue to move higher. There's no reason that it shouldn't. So looking at NEO here, this is definitely a buy in my book. And I'm going to be looking at it very carefully. I don't have any position in it as of yet. But if you were to just take a little consolidating trend line here, that's a pretty good trend line whenever that can get broken. If you notice something else, also this $30 region right here, if you want to get super specific, you could call it here 37.69, right? You can call it 37.69 if you want to get in early. If you want to get in at a good buy point, you're probably looking up here at this 38.61 point, where's the top of this day. That would be a very good place to get in. You also could have gotten in at this prior high, this little consolidation here. Could have gotten here at 35.67, but you want to pick some point that it has to breach, some kind of test that confirms your bias to the upside on whatever you're trading in, stock or Bitcoin or any kind of cryptocurrency. So $38 level is a pretty safe bet. 38.56 looks just as safe, maybe a little bit better because you're breaking a prior high. So we've already broken. We already have a higher low here, right? We have a lower low between this low is broken with this low, so this is a lower low, and now this is a higher low. Okay, so that pattern's been broken. So now our bottoms are trending up, and now here we have a higher high. Okay, so here's a high, here's a high, here's a high. If you want to call that a high, that's a high. Now this is a high, and it broke this high, but then we have this high that broke this high. So we already have higher highs in place. Now, you know, you could get in anywhere on this thing, but I definitely think it's going to go up from here. Let's take a little look around the cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin's been on a tear, absolute tear, hitting $4,100 almost, just blowing up since it blew past this this consolidation line. See, this is the all-time high line back here before it consolidated, pulled back, and then, you know, 1, 2, triple top. The fourth time it breached on excellent volume. Look at this volume here, and boom, off to the races. I mean, this is, Bitcoin is something else. It's probably gonna, it looks like it's gonna keep going. There's really no huge selling pressure here. This biggest bar here, obviously this was a support day. Look at where it closes. I mean, Bitcoin is nowhere close to being done. Ethereum here. Ethereum was running pretty good. Nothing crazy on the sell side here. Just kind of holding tight. If you have Ethereum, wouldn't be too worried about it. If you want to get in, I don't know if I would get in here. I would wait for some type of a breakout or consolidation. It's, you know, your easy entry was down here. You're a little extended. If this thing can sideways out and then pop up here above the 320 level, if you really have an eye on this thing, you could break it down into the 2 hour or the hourly chart, and then take your signals based off. Like, this is a good buy signal. Obviously, it was, you know, negated over here, and if you bought, you would probably be in the negative. You know, if you were holding, I would hold it personally. These cryptos, pretty much, if you're in a quality cryptocurrency, they just go up. XRP, let's look at Ripple. You're going to see some good and some bad here. So this is looks like a form of what's called an H pattern. It's not a well-defined H pattern, but I see this drop right here, and then it's kind of an H, an arching, meaning coming up, losing buying pressure, then folding back over. So, you know, we'll just have to see what happens here. There's nothing to buy here. Typically, when you're trading in stocks, cryptocurrencies, almost anything, the buy low, sell high rule just doesn't work. I'll get into that in another video, but buy low, sell high, it's a myth. You want to buy high and sell higher. All right, Bitcoin Cash, looking really constructive here. Very constructive. Volume is declining at a nice clip. You have very sideways motion here. And look at the run this thing had. I mean, this thing from $200 to $1,500 in 2 days. Holy crap. That's ridiculous. Even off the low here, you're looking at 200 to 400. That's a 100% increase off of this little low. So this thing definitely could make a run. It's, in my mind, and this could be literally nothing. Take it for what you're paying for it. In my mind, it could do what EOS is kind of doing here, right? Big pop, consolidation, comes up and goes sideways for quite some time. So, but that, I don't think that's a bad thing. So Bitcoin Cash doing its thing. So NEM here selling off. I was looking at this consolidation. I was kind of happy to see it consolidating at these highs up here. The past 3 bars leave a lot to be desired, though. That's a pass. Litecoin, it's been disappointing. It had a little run up here. I did have actually quite a bit of Litecoin. I sold it all, basically break even, and I'm just waiting for it to do something. It's just kind of floundering about. I don't like to put my money into things that aren't doing anything. IOTA, this guy is working really well for me. So if you watch my other videos, I'm in IOTA as of, I think, right about here, 58.74 or something like that, and then it's up here at 77. So I'm pretty happy about that. Look at the volume in IOTA. I mean, it's really spectacular. I have a whole video talking about this chart pattern. I won't go into it too much, but the breakout is gone. Not quite according to plan, but hey, on the 3rd day, it's plan's good. Neo, I'm looking at right now. Really like this. This is what we started with. It's looking excellent. Dash kind of an oldie but goodie. It's been around for a while in the crypto space. Really choppy action. I'm not a fan of this choppy action, so I'm passing on Dash. Ethereum Classic holding down at these lows. I'm not a super fan of stocks that are going to hold at their lows like this. I'm not going to discount it. It's definitely on my watch list. If it can But also, here's something good about it. Look at the volume. The volume is negligible, and that is a very good thing. If we were seeing some increasing volume here, that would be disturbing. We don't see that, but still holding at these lows, it's testing this, you know, I'm just going to arbitrarily call it this, you know, let's just say right about here. So it's testing this level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the 9th time it's testing this level. Eventually it's going to break down below this level or break down above this descending trend line, and then we're probably going to be good. But I would definitely wait for a higher high. Anytime you're dealing with a descending channel or a descending pattern of this nature, we already have some higher lows, which is kind of nice. I'm sure you can see that, but I'll draw it for you anyways. So we already have, but this is not a pattern, okay? I drew some lines here. I don't even think it looks good. Technically, if it were a pattern, it would be bigger. And you know what? There's such a big gap here. If you wanted to try to draw a line from here, or even from down here, like if you wanted to do this and just arbitrarily call this a big bull flag, I think you're reaching. Quantum or Qtum, whatever. Yeah, not doing a whole lot. Not super happy with this one. So in case you didn't notice it from another video, I have the top 20 cryptocurrencies by market cap listed from top to bottom. So as I go down through these, I'm actually going from the most valuable cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, all the way down to the 20th BCU, whatever that is. I forget. I don't trade it. Don't trade Quantum either. It just isn't very interesting. Monero, oldie but goodie. This one kind of has the same thing that Dash was having. It's kind of high, tight, wide. This one's holding higher, obviously, which is nice. See, it's kind of, you know, just wide action. You don't want to see wide action. You want to see tight action. So this is kind of wide, but it's getting at least a little tight here. IOTA, good example. Look how tight that is. Tight, tight, tight. It's constructive. It's constructive action. You know, Bitcoin, our leader. Let's look at its action. I mean, really tight. Here's some movement here, but it's not horribly wide. This didn't spike up here. This didn't spike down here. I mean, look, when it's pulling back, you're going to get some action, but you really don't want to see... Where was I? There I am. You really don't want to see big swings like this. This shows that there's a lot of sellers as well as a lot of buyers. So it's just not something I'm super excited about. The volume pattern from in this uptrend here is pretty nice, but yeah, it just doesn't excite me. All right, Stratus here. Stratus breaking these this higher consolidation. This started to look like a cup with a handle right here. Granted, it's a very wide and loose handle, which pretty much negates that pattern, but it was something. And these past 3 days, it broke down. You have a lower low here. You have a double top here. Double tops are not good. Double bottoms are good, but this isn't quite a double bottom. It could be considered a double bottom if it were to, you know, come up here and break higher, but at this stage, I'm not really interested. There's not a lot of volume support either at this level. See, the volume is really negligible, so you know, your volume is very important when you're looking at these things. Look at that. The highest volume bar is the bottom. That is not an accident. I'm just going to say that. That is not an accident. All right, BitConnect. This looks like a very thin. Looks like there's not a lot of trading happening in this. I mean, granted, the thing's going up gangbusters, 1,200 to 3,400, but it's, you know what? If you're in this thing here, 25.12, and then it gapped down all the way here to 17, how would that make you feel? I mean, there's no connecting bar here. It's just an arbitrary trade position. I don't know if it was there for a minute. I don't know if it was there for 3 hours. I'm still on the daily chart, mind you. It's just I'm not interested in thin cryptocurrencies or even thin stocks. Ohmy's Go, massive run. Look at this thing. It's a spectacular chart. This little consolidation here kind of reminds me of, was it Neo I was looking at? Yeah, look at this thing. Granted, it ran a little faster, but I mean, this thing could have another lane up or another leg up like Ohmy's Go had over here. Yeah, I know I don't pay for this. So, you know, second, third leg up, another big consolidation. This thing had a huge run. $3.80 up to $7. That's a 100% run in 2 days. If you're lucky enough to get it back here, it was a 400% run. If you're lucky enough to back here at $9, almost 800% run. So it's pulling back. You know what? This thing has been so strong. Look at the volume action. The volume is negligible. If you wanted to take a flyer down here, put your stops down beneath this, what looks like I'm going to call this some kind of a double bottom, just because the stock is so strong. This currency is so strong. Excuse me, I'm trading stocks for 15 years. Yeah, so I wouldn't mind taking a flyer here, because even if this thing, it's going to pop back up to at least the 723 level. So if it's going to be almost $1.50. That's crazy. A 40% move just on some kind of a pullback. That's insane. Pay. This is the thing that's been moving like gangbusters. Recently, this is up much more than 100%. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I really hate how these things tether to Bitcoin. Okay, I understand it. It's a cryptocurrency. So here, if I go to pay, I do not have an option to trade this against the dollar, right? So always go US dollar, US dollar. This Stratus is against Bitcoin, US dollar, tether, Bitcoin, US dollar, tether, US dollar, tether, US dollar, tether, US dollar, US dollar. When you're comparing these things, see, here's the thing. Check this out. Let me do this just for fun. Let me throw in Ethereum to Bitcoin. Okay, Ethereum to Bitcoin. Let's put right next to Ethereum. So here's Ethereum to US dollar tether. US dollar tether is a cryptocurrency that's supposed to mimic the US dollar. It does an okay job, so it's better than nothing. But so let's go to here. We've already seen this chart. Now let's go to Ethereum next to Bitcoin. Look at that. Two completely different charts. I mean, literally, this could almost be considered a head and shoulders pattern, because this is tethered to Bitcoin. Keep in mind, the US dollar doesn't fluctuate near as much as Bitcoin does. So you either make everything float with Bitcoin if you can, or you make it tethered to the US dollar. I personally really like the US dollar. Oh, Ethereum Classic, how'd I get that? Oh, no wonder it's a different chart. Sorry about that. All right, Ethereum US dollar, Ethereum Bitcoin. Completely different charts. Just completely different charts. You're going to get different readings. Look at this Ethereum to Bitcoin. I mean, you might be saying to yourself, "Oh man, Ethereum's tanking." Well, look at this. Ethereum is not tanking, because at the end of the day, you're going to be trading this stuff in for dollars. Yeah, you can buy some stuff with Bitcoin. Yeah, you can buy some stuff with Ethereum. I understand that. But you're actually trading dollars when you're doing this, okay? You want something stable that you can compare against. The other thing that I don't like is, how am I supposed to ascertain percentages when you give me, 0.000006595 Bitcoin? How in frickin' tarnation whatever am I supposed to figure out what that means? I mean, I'm not a math major, but I'm a pretty smart guy, and I'm telling you right now, that's frustrating. That's horribly frustrating. Look at this, XEM to Bitcoin. Look, of course it's down, because Bitcoin's skyrocketing, right? I mean, everything's going to be in comparison to something else, but the dollar moves a lot slower. It's a currency that's much more stable than Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin is in an inflationary period where it's just skyrocketing. So, anyway, that's my little rant on why you should try to tether your Bitcoins to the US dollar instead of Bitcoin. All right, back to the show. I think we're talking about pay. So pay, excellent. Pulling back in here, which is really nice to see. Again, this is tethered to Bitcoin, so I have to do some crazy math to try to figure this stuff out. I know it's not rocket science, but, this is 100%. This 6 to this 12. I'm sitting here counting decimal points. This is horrible. So 6 to 12. So this thing went from 0.0008 to 12. So this is a 50% run. That's about a 100% run out of this breakout here. If you're lucky enough and about it all the way down here, you're going from 6 to 18. So that's a triple. And pay's pulling all the way back in here. I don't think this move is over by any stretch. Actually, I think this is a fantastic. Oh, here it is, 10x. 10x is, I think it's a fantastic cryptocurrency. This basically allows you to pay or to buy anything in the real world with your smartphone using cryptocurrencies, even if they don't accept cryptocurrencies. So, pretty powerful stuff. Waves, kind of rolling over. We've seen this pattern a couple of times in the not so well followed cryptocurrencies. This is another one of those. Not so happy with it. EOS, I actually have an alert here, $2 for EOS, but actually came down, which I'm a little surprised by. The good part, if you really wanted to, you could trade this thing. If it gets down here again towards 150, you could trade it at $2 for a 33% increase. I don't think you can short these. I don't have an account that can short these. And I don't know what's going on with Bitfinex, but they talking about banning US customers or something. And then I just logged in a little bit ago and they mentioned something, oh, we didn't mean that, but they never clarified their statement. Anyway, I don't know if you can short these, but this looks like a range bound security at this point. You've got a double bottom right here. I don't know exactly how long this is going to be range bound for, but you could, this is 33%, this is 33%, or 25%, 33%, 25%. If you can trade this up and down, hey man, it could be good for you until this decides to go. But overall, this thing is looking pretty good, and you just have to wait for it to break out. BitShares, not on my watch list. Sitting down here, okay, I'll explain it. Sitting down here at lows, if you can't figure that out, it's sitting down here at lows, breaking, has lower highs, lower lows. I'm not interested. Zcash, also big spike up, came all the way down, came up, maybe rolling over again. I'm not really interested. There's better fish to fry than this. And Bitcoin Unlimited, I don't know anything about Bitcoin Unlimited. I just know I put it on my thing because it was the 20th highest market cap. So that's my rundown of the market. Bitcoin on a tear. On a tear. When this thing pulls back again, buy some Bitcoin. I have a feeling it's going to go up, consolidate, go up. I mean, it's just going to follow these patterns just done time and time again. So it may do something like this where it goes up and then comes right back down. So this is kind of like a base on base pattern down here, right? You've got, yeah, I know you want to tether to everything. So you run up here and then it comes back down and then starts running up again precipitously. So I don't think enough people were shaken out during this run. Maybe the run's done up here. I mean, it's really hard to tell at this point. It's looking pretty strong, but the volume is declining. The volume is declining, kind of like over here. Volume's declining. There's a lot more red spikes in here, which makes me a little more nervous. There's not too many red spikes in here, but if you want to zoom in from this breakout day over here, you only have a couple of high volume days, and the volume is diminishing. So at some point, this is going to come to a rest. So that's it, guys. Hey, man, gotta love IOTA. Oop, it's moved into my text. I gotta move my text now. It's a good problem to have. All right, guys, have a good day. Happy trading. Any questions, comments, concerns? Talk to me in the chat. Let me know if there's something specific you want me to touch on cryptocurrency. If there's anything you want to actually learn, I want to cater to you guys and what you guys need to learn, what you're interested in, and want to see if I can help you out. All right, thanks. Bye.